What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft UHC with ShortyDewOp. And as you can see, we are in the Nether. I'm thinking, God, there's a gnat in my face. Hold on. Get wrecked, son. I don't know if I got him. Nope. Did I get him? Who cares? So yeah, we are in the Nether today. And I didn't put it on my hotbar because I didn't want you to see right off the bat. But what we are doing today, you might have seen it there, is now that we have 3 wither skulls. I'm recording this after the fact. Like I told you guys in the last episode, how the last one I put up, I had to record over because I was just sick and it sounded like crap. Well, I'm doing the same thing with this one. So the next video after this one should be a recorded while I'm actually playing, like most of my videos are. But yeah, this one I decided that I was going to take on the Wither and try to find a place. Uh-oh. Who's gassed? I was going to find a place to do that trick that I talked about last time. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had mentioned in one of the episodes that I wanted to try, that it's a common thing that people do, good Lord, where you put a piston in the ground and you put a lever right next to it and you build the wither on top of the piston, on top of the sticky piston. So when you put all 3 skulls on there, when you complete the sequence, you get them all on there, the wither shows up and it has that little moment where it has half health and it goes all the way up to full health. You have a little window right there where you can flip the switch and get him stuck up into bedrock. So I have to find an area where there is some bedrock, and what you have to do with it is, when you build it, you have to take account for the piston in the ground, and then build the soul sand. So you've got 2 levels of soul sand, and then it goes out 1 on either side of the soul sand. So you go up 2, over 1 in each direction, and then you put the skulls on top of that, and that takes up 1 block. So when you spawn the wither, it goes up 1 block. So you have to account for that little space right there when you're finding a place to build this to get the wither stuck. Because what ends up happening is you have to have it completely surrounded by bedrock and have bedrock, open space, bedrock, and then everything has to be, you'll see once we end up getting to, I do end up finding a good spot for it. It takes a little while, but you have to have that 1 block gap, so when he lifts up and then you throw the lever on the piston switch, or on the piston, it pushes him up and it actually gets his head stuck in the bedrock and he can't get out, and he can shoot and stuff, but nothing really happens to you for the most part. So I found bedrock right here, and it took a little ways of digging through and stuff. But I'm trying to think. There was one spot that I kind of thought was a good spot to do it, but it ended up being kind of bad. But you can see right to the left there how there's the bedrock on top and then the netherrack, and then next one down, if there was bedrock all surrounding that and that was the only bit of netherrack right there, that would have been perfect to push him up in there. So yeah, what I ended up doing, why am I just sitting there? Okay. I think I stopped because I was like coughing or something. I was still sick in this video, so I was having a little bit of trouble speaking. So yeah, you need like a little space like that with it, and it being completely covered. And you can push him up in there, because he actually goes through one block of bedrock. So you don't actually want to, you have the bedrock, then you go down one block, and then there's a skull, and then you go down one block, and then there's a soul sand, and then you push all that up when he lifts up, and it'll actually push him into that opening. But I'm beating a dead horse. Anyways, you'll end up seeing kind of like the area that I picked out, and it actually worked in trapping him. So, spoilers, it actually worked in trapping him. So, in the actual commentary and stuff, like I was way more excited, but since I like know what's happening, I'm probably not gonna react to it like, oh my god, you see that? Like, I'm not gonna do that. But what I was gonna do is, I guess, just talk about a little bit more about linguistics and stuff and what I've been doing so far. So far this semester, I've taken quite a few other linguistics courses, so I've done quite a different, bunch of different things as far as the history of the English language. I did a history class that went from the beginnings of English in England all the way through pretty much, well, I think we stopped around, it was Noah Webster is where we stopped in the U.S., and we talked a little bit about American English and how it differs a little bit, from and why there's a difference, because it was a planned thing. It wasn't just the initial part of that wasn't a, see right there would have been a okay one right there, but there's too many openings and stuff. It was a conscious decision. Of course, there are some changes that are, language is always changing. That's the one thing. The first linguistics class you go to, they tell you like language is always going to change, no matter what you do or what you try to do to stop it. It never will stop. It's always changing. But they really pushed for it, Noah Webster did in the U.S. I'm trying to think of the year. It was 18, when he put out one book, and he was like a laughing stock, and I can't remember the name of it, but he was a lexicographer. He was a linguist as well, but he put out one book, and everybody scrutinized him because he took a more prescriptive approach to how language should be learned and how it should be taught, and everybody kind of thought he was thought negatively of him. And then he went away and came up with the American Dictionary of English Language. When was that? 1828. Yeah. So and that kind of, they accepted him back into the fold as a respected, scientist and linguist, and lexicographer. But yeah, I took that class. I've taken dialect classes. Most of the other classes are pretty much just encompassing, they either focus on a few different parts or a little bit of everything, which this class that I'm doing now is a little bit of everything. It hits all the major points of linguistic study. So the first chapter, I think that we did, it was just kind of an introduction chapter. It was pretty basic, like what is language and what what is language and what isn't language, and common misconceptions and stuff like that. But then we went to phonetics and phonology, and usually they're differentiated in the fact that phonetics just talks about the speech sounds of a language, of human speech rather. The basic functions that enable. God, it stops again. Look at that. I think it was either hacking up a lung or the dogs were barking or something like that. The basic things that make it possible for humans to speak. And that goes from, let's see, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen just to kind of show you. The first one I'm going to show, I think I'm going to do the, wow, that's weird. I'm trying to like just open this as a picture, and it went through Internet Explorer, and I've never even opened Internet Explorer on this computer. That's goofy. So I'm gonna put a picture up on here somewhere on the screen, but you can see that the red lines and the red dots and stuff, phonetics talks about each individual sound that can be made and where those sounds. Oh, we're getting ready to switch in the video. I think I cut here, and I cut there, and I just kept digging for a while to find a good place, and I ended up dropping all my stuff to go fight the wither right here. We'll see. Now I don't want to talk about, maybe I'll put the picture up a little bit later then, because I want to talk over like the battle and stuff. So yeah, I ended up cutting right there and just kept digging to find a good spot. It actually took me a little bit longer than I thought it would to find a spot, but I ended up coming across something that I thought would work at the time, which it did work. I made some strength potions, and I finally made some fire resistance potions. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner, and it was kind of good that I did make them. I don't know if it was right here, or if it was when I was digging the first time, like when I cut, but I got caught by some lava in here, and I had, it was a good thing I had my fire resistance potions, and it ended up not killing me. So yeah, I ended up digging out all this crap in this spot right here is what I was talking about. So that stuff, it seems like the bedrock, like it's only it's getting ready to stop, but I dug out this little cubby right here, so just in case it gets like, just in case it got crazy, I could pop back and then, like, you know, pop around the corner, hit him a couple times, pop back around and hit him and stuff. But you can see if I end up turning there in the video, that opening right there, there's one block that's open. That's what I was talking about. It's completely surrounded by bedrock except for that one spot. So I've got to, or I think I go in one more. Yeah, it was in one more, and that one's so right where I'm pointed right now, if you go up to the empty block and then you go right one, it's open right there. And that one is surrounded by it, so there's only one opening, which you can see right there. So I wanted to build all this crap in here. So I do a piston there. And then, yeah, then I just put the lever down there and push that up. And that will push the soul sand and the skeletons up, skeleton heads up. And of course, this guy, he's got to hang out back here, so I can punch him in the face. I ended up having some trouble, and I really don't know why. Like, I think my strength potion wore out. See there, you can see that one spot right there. I think my strength potion wore out when I was like fighting the dude, but I can't remember if I drank another one or not. I can't remember. But I end up having trouble placing the skeleton, the wither skeleton skulls. So maybe, I don't know when I actually start putting these things down. I'll put the picture up and I'll just pull the picture off before I get, like, the fight starts. So yeah, I'll put the picture up, and phonetics it explains all the speech sounds that you can see at the red dots. So you've got, you know, the hard palate, you've got the velum that's back at the velum is your, you know, your little dangly ball back there, that area, your nasal cavity. So when you say like mom, when you say the M sound, it's going through your nose. Your glottis, that's when you say uh-oh, like the up part is in your throat. The teeth, the dental, so you have like bilabial sounds, which are two lips. So you say but or put. See, it didn't work right there. So weird. So when you say those two words, you're using two lips. And then the dental one, I'm guessing from this one, it's called interdental. And there's only a couple. The one that pops to mind is when you say through, the TH. There's a voiced and a voiceless one. So the voiced one is a different symbol, and I'll show you the IPA chart. I'll put that up at some point, so you can see it. That's how you transcribe all these sounds. The voiced one is the. So THE, that's the voiced TH sound, and through is an interdental, which means just your tongue goes in between your teeth, and that's voiceless. Your voice box doesn't move when you say that. And I think here, oh yeah, it works. So yeah, you can see how his head got pushed up in there, and then I just pretty much waited for him to get full health. And then just took the rep in dude's face, and he went down pretty quickly. Smoked him. It didn't even bust up any, like, netherrack. Like, I sound so goofy in the video, like, because I was sick and stuff, and I'm like, woo, like, you know, like, beat him down, but I couldn't. My nose was, like, plugged up, so I sounded stupid. But yeah, and then you got alveolar ridge, which is when the tip of your tongue, the blade of your tongue, goes to the back of your teeth, your upper teeth. And that's like when you say tip, you put the tip of your tongue to the back of your upper teeth. So those are kind of, that's what phonetics is. It's just all the speech sounds of any language, and IPA is the written representation of those sounds. So you can take the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, and you can listen to any language, and you should be able to transcribe that language to get how it sounds. Even if you don't know the language, you can listen to it, and with the IPA, which I'll put up now, I'll put it up on the screen, you can see that you've got vowels on the left, the single ones, everything from the upside down caret all the way down to the backwards C are vowels, or the U with the colon, sorry, and those are all vowels. And then you have diphthongs. They're monothongs, are the single ones from the upside down caret to the U with the colon. Those are called monothongs. And the two-letter ones from the AI, which we won't worry about those bottom three, but from the AI to the backwards C and the I are diphthongs. Those are two sounds. So they give you kind of like as you can see, like the backwards C and the I is that oi sound, join. Boy, you have like the two vowels that are kind of elongated, and And then on the right, you have all your consonants. So you have all those different sounds, and I've had to, memorize those for, the past couple of years to have an understanding of phonetics and transcribing words. And that's how you can learn about regional differences and stuff. So if I was to listen, for sake of example, you could compare how I say words versus my girlfriend, because my girlfriend's from England. So obviously there's differences in the way we speak, and I can transcribe those differences and show you what is different by listening to her speak and transcribe it, and listening to the way I speak and transcribe it, and you can see the differences in that way. And it's kind of like if you've ever looked in a dictionary. They give you pronunciations on the side of it, but that's not IPA. That's specific to that dictionary. So if you look in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it's going to be different than, say, Oxford English Dictionary or something like that. It's going to be different. Maybe only slightly, but they've still got different symbols that they use to represent different things. So yeah, that was what I was doing a couple weeks ago, and doing that stuff. It's really cool. There's a bunch of different aspects that I won't go into, because it's obviously I'm not teaching a course in it, so I'm just kind of sharing it because I think it's interesting. And it's one thing that makes us uniquely human, and I think a lot of people overlook language, and it's overlook it, and it's something sometimes that people just don't think about, and then you go, oh yeah, that makes sense, and you start to think about it. But right here I was talking about maybe trying to put the beacon through the fountain, so I think maybe in the next episode I might redo the fountain and change it around so the beacon goes through there, or I might put it in the mines, so then I can get haste 2 and start really powering through and getting tons of diamonds and stuff. But with that looting pick, I've got a lot of diamonds still. I've got a decent amount, I think. I haven't looked for a while. But yeah, that's phonology, or phonetics is the individual sound, but phonology is often, it's different in the fact that it's not so much concerned with how sounds are produced within the mouth or the vocal cords or anything like that. It describes how sounds within the language react with each other. So if you take a word, rat, bat, there's only one difference between the word bat and rat. They're called a minimal pair, and that's actually minimal triplet, because there's another word, I think it's a rat, bat, cat. They all have different meanings, and the only difference between each of those are the letter that starts the word. So they're each phonemes. Each of those phonemes creates a different meaning within the word. And there's minimal, that one is a minimal triplet. Each of those different phonemes create different meanings. And then there's minimal pairs and stuff like that, where just two words are the same, but just one thing is different in between them. And that's where you get allophones and stuff like that, or different variations, and that's how you can see how different words react when different circumstances arise. Say for instance, what could you use for an example? I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. So some words, they change. If you say for example plural S, when you have it with say the word trips, you have it a very S-like sound. So you have trips. It has the typical S sound that you would think. But if you put judge, if you make judge plural, you have judges, or dogs. It's still an S, it's still a plural S to mean there's more than one, but the sound gets changed. And you can see that through phonology, you know, a phonological analysis of English. You can see why that changes. And it's like, okay, well, you got dogs. Dogs is like a stop, it's a voiced stop, or glottal stop. See, there's a lot of linguistics course. You know you're in a linguistics course when you see people doing that, because a lot of times, like when you're messing with phonology, there's like a thing called aspiration, where you say, like, if you've ever heard somebody say what, and they're like saying the H sound like really poignantly. If you'll see a lot of people like it with their hand in front of their face, like trying to feel breath, or feeling their throat to see if their voice box is vibrating, or you'll see people like sounding stuff out. So I look like a crazy person. Like if I'm at school doing homework and I'm sitting there going like guh, buh, puh, you know, and I'm doing my linguistics homework, I look like a creep. But yeah, so phonology is a little bit different than phonetics, because it's actually, you can do it for any language, just like phonetics, but it's actually the words themselves, how they interact with each other. That's what it's the study of, is the individual phonemes and the allophones of those, you know, phonemes. Whereas phonetics is just the basics of what makes it possible for us to speak. So yeah, so those are the two that we're doing now. And then I think we move on to morphology, which I may gloss over and stuff the next time. And of course somebody's stomping around, but at least it's the end of the video. So yeah, I hope you liked that kind of like rundown of linguistics and stuff. If it's not that fun, then I won't do it anymore. But I think it's kind of interesting, and you know, it makes these videos a lot more fun to get to talk about stuff that you're passionate about. Man, won't you stomp around a little bit louder? Good God. So it's the end of the video, so I'm probably going to leave that in. I'm going to try to normalize it in Audacity and keep it from beating people's eardrums up. But as always, thanks for watching. I'll try to get on to the normal schedule once I put this one out, and we'll try to get back on track. So, as always, thanks for watching, and catch you guys next time.